And there are calls to tackle the alarming growth in fuel theft after a raid on a farm in County Durham by thieves stealing petrol. And more on that now. And farming leaders have said they want action to tackle an alarming level of fuel theft. That comes a day after the tragic death of Rosemary Dove in County Durham, who collapsed and died after phoning police to report a thief stealing her diesel supply. Well, Elaine Wilcox is in County Durham for us. Elaine.
Yes, good morning, Penny. Well, we're often told the soaring cost of fuel is a global problem, but its effects are being felt very keenly at this small farmhouse in this picturesque village at Bishop Midland. This is truly a tragic story for the family involved. 68-year-old Rosie Dove died and collapsed as she was making that 999 call to the police. She'd rushed to get help after her and her husband had spotted intruders trying to steal their agricultural diesel from their farmyard. Now, her husband, Frank, is said to be distraught. As his wife was dying, he was trying to catch the raiders. Their son, Michael, is still in hospital. He's recovering after suffering a double fractured hip and head injuries after they tried to catch the raiders. He was hit by their pickup truck as they tried to escape. Now, we're told that union leaders are calling for action because there's been a massive increase in the rise of diesel thefts. It's been described as liquid gold in these parts in the northeast, South London and Surrey are some of the hot spots. But obviously this community very much in shock that someone has died because of this fuel crisis. Back to you.
Elaine, thank you. Well, one insurance company has reported a 30% rise in fuel thefts from farms this year, but it appears to be growing crime outside of the farming community. Joining me now is Jon Day from the RAC. Good morning to you. First of all, I'm assuming red diesel is called red diesel because it's coloured red.
Absolutely, it is coloured red, and that's to draw the distinction between normal diesel and agricultural grade diesel. Some very clever people are able to remove the colouring from it, but those in the know are able to tell exactly the difference between the two grades, the difference between that which you can buy at the pumps and that which is meant for farming vehicles. And
the reason is because then, of course, they can check. It's allegedly so you can check whether this red diesel is being used for other nefarious purposes.
Absolutely.
Right. What about the facts and figures on fuel thefts then?
Well, the RAC have done some research into this year, and we found a slightly alarming upturn in the amount of fuel thefts in various areas of the country. Indeed, in Surrey, parts of East London and topically the North East, we found that there is a rising instance of people stealing fuel from vehicles. And obviously, you know, the logical conclusion is to draw that the rising price of fuel and the desperation that motorists are feeling at the moment about the high levels of taxation, the high price at the pumps, is leading to this.
Right, and people, you're assuming, are just stealing that directly for themselves, not to go and sell on anywhere else?
No, it would appear to be that people are stealing fuel because of the fact that the prices at the pump are so prohibitive just now to the average motorist that people are turning to desperate measures, at least the less scrupulous in society.
What can motorists do to stop this happening to them? Because I mean, most people have either locks on the petrol cap themselves or locks on the flap that goes over the petrol cap.
Of course, and that is a very sensible course of action to take. Prevention is far better than the cure in this instance. So if you are able to lock your car in a garage at night, lock it behind closed gates, so much the better. If you're parking in town, for example, on an evening out, leave your car in a well-lit area, in a busy area, which will deter thieves. If you get back to your car and find that you smell petrol, there's maybe a puddle under the car, then whatever you do, don't light a cigarette, stay away from the vehicle and call the motoring organisation that you belong to.
The price of petrol does seem to have changed the way that we use our cars, doesn't it?
It does, and what we're finding anecdotally from our patrolmen at the moment is a number of things. We've had some quotes this week from our patrols up and down the country along the lines of the fact that there are far less cars on the road. One of our patrols, or a number of our patrols in fact, have said it feels like the school holidays already.
Yeah, I thought it was, funnily enough I did, I thought it must be half term because there were so few cars here.
Very much so, and because our patrols are spending you know, every day out on the road, what we're finding is that people are uniformly sticking to 56 miles an hour, which is the most economical speed at which to drive. People have very much changed their driving behaviours in light of the fuel crisis, certainly in terms of the fact that it's so expensive to buy a litre of fuel right now.
Jon Day, thank you very much.
22 minutes past 6, time still to